Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Voiddyn and today I'm going to be talking to you about one of my favorite decks in the format, Lost Zone Box. For those not aware of what a box deck is or a toolbox deck is in the format, a toolbox deck is something where you have a tool for every single situation. Lost Zone Box is built around the Lost Zone mechanic and being able to put things in the Lost Zone where you can never touch them ever again. Today we'll be going over the list that placed 11th in EUIC, which plays some EXs, not just the Sableye list from long ago. Before we go over the basics, let me put a little asterisk here for those looking to build this deck in person or looking to buy the cards. This deck will completely rotate out in the next format. Once we get to the G format, when F cards rotate, this deck will not be playable in Standard anymore. There is no version of it that will exist because all of the Lost Zone cards will be gone. So just be aware of that before you build this deck, expecting yourself to have something post-rotation. Now let's start with the basics of this deck. This deck revolves around having cards in the Lost Zone. As soon as you hit certain numbers of cards in the Lost Zone, you get cards that activate or abilities that work because of it. The main enabler of this deck is Comfey. Comfey has the ability Flower Selecting. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active slot, you may look at the top two cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand and the other into the Lost Zone. This card is fantastic and honestly one of the main reasons you play the deck. Being able to have card selection and say, I want to keep this card, I want to get rid of this card, is honestly such a good feeling and a great enabler for everything else going on. Along with that, we have some other cards that interact with the Lost Zone. We have a Colress's Experiment that says look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, and put the other 2 into the Lost Zone. Now this is very important because you're going to need to put at most about 10 cards into the Lost Zone, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Besides that, we also have Lost Vacuum, which is a card that doesn't really care as much about the Lost Zone, but you can put a card from your hand into the Lost Zone to remove a tool attached to a Pokemon or a stadium into the Lost Zone. This is huge because of the fact that not only is it good removal for tricky pieces, but it's another way for you to add to that count in the Lost Zone. Now, what cards care about the Lost Zone? Well, we have a couple. We'll start with Cramorant. Cramorant says if you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack costs. Its attack is Spit Innocently for 110 damage, but it's not affected by weakness. Card is fantastic and honestly a very good attacker for when you just need to put damage on something. The second card that cares about the Lost Zone is Mirage Gate. Mirage Gate says you can only use this card if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. You search your deck up for 2 basic energies of different types and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you'd like, then shuffle your deck. Like Crispin, this is very good at getting Pokemon with really intense energy costs to be able to attack at any point. And finally, the last card that we care about that utilizes the Lost Zone is Sableye. Sableye has the attack Lost Bind that says you can attack only if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you'd like. This is huge and honestly probably one of, if not the best card in the deck to allow you to finish off your opponent's Pokemon. 12 damage counters any way you like allows you to wipe stuff off the board and kind of just finish up everything. Now we talked about Mirage Gate earlier, and we talked about being able to attack with difficult attackers. What attackers can we use in this list? Well, we have a couple. The first one that we have is Pikachu EX. Pikachu EX has the attack Topaz Bolt for 300 damage, and it discards the 3 energy from this Pokemon. It's a Terra Pokemon, but it also has the ability Resolute Heart. If this Pokemon is full HP and would be knocked out, it is not knocked out, and instead it gets a remaining HP of 10. This is really good because sometimes you just need an attacker in the active that you know isn't going to get knocked back out in response. Along with that, we play Moon Ursaluna, which you will eventually only try to bench towards the late game because you want to get knockouts with 240. You want to be able to mix things up and use the Blood Moon attack because of the fact that Blood Moon used by this Pokemon costs 1 less for each prize card your opponent has taken. Honestly, fantastic and a staple for so many standard decks up until this point. The last EX you play is Iron Hands EX, which has the attack Amp You very much. It deals 120 damage, and it says if a Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, you take 1 more prize card. Normally 4 energy is a little bit rough to hit, but with Mirage Gates, you're easily able to accelerate onto it and get that knockout whenever you need. Now, our other non-EX attacker is Regigigas. Regigigas has the attack Jewel Breaker for 100 damage, and it says if your opponent's Pokemon is a Terra Pokemon, it deals 230 more damage. That's 330 damage, enough to KO Charizard and also Dragapult in the format with ease. We also have stuff like Iron Bundle, which has the ability Hyper Blower that says once during your turn, if this Pokemon's on your bench, you may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to their bench, and if you do, discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. Honestly, pretty huge because of the fact that Budew is pretty rough in the format, and you want to try to get something out to stop your opponent from having Budew out there. This deck utilizes stuff like Force Super Rod as well. Because of the fact we play a lot of 1-ups, we're going to end up playing stuff and it's going to get knocked out, and we're going to need to shuffle it back in and try to find it. So with the amount of dig we have through a bunch of these cards, Super Rod is really just the best way to recover. So now that we're done talking about the deck, let's get into a couple games. Going first doesn't hurt us that much, but I would prefer to not go first if I can avoid it. No, we will go second. The reason why you want to go second is because you kind of want to get a setup just in case you have to go into the Budew meta, right? Being able to attack first is pretty huge. Shoot. Okay, so we have a Radiant Greninja as well as an Iron Bundle. I'd like to put them both out just in case. We don't need to put the Iron Bundle out right away, but the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to be able to swap something out just in case my opponent starts Budew. If my opponent starts Budew, I'll switch it out ASAP. We start with a Colress's too, that's pretty good. Okay, let's put 2 Comfeys onto the bench. I'd like to... we're going to immediately Iron Bundle to get that guy out of the active. Not that we don't care about Mimikyu, but if we can attack this turn, which is very possible with what cards we have in hand, I would like to be able to simply just attack. So before we attach, let's do this thing where we Colress's, right? Okay, switch card, switch card. The problem is that I don't want to lose too many water, too many psychic, and a Mirage Gate. 2 energy going in there. We'll be down 1 lightning, which means we can only use 1 lightning attack. So let's not take the switch card. Let's take this energy instead. So what I'll do is I will switch cart into the Comfey, and we're going to look at the top 2 cards. The problem is with this deck is that you're going to have to make hard decisions like all the time, right? Like we want that Iron Hands in hand. No pun intended, right? And then I'd like to discard a card. So we'll discard probably the Steel Energy because we don't need it right now. And there's a Nest Ball as well. Nest Ball is going to get us the Cramorant because we want to be able to attack like ASAP. So how many do we have in the Lost Zone? We have 3. I'd like to be able to get the 4th to attack this turn. So to do that, what I need to do is I need to attach here. I'd like to retreat. And then after I retreat, I'd like to go to the second Comfey. And if we can get another switch cart, we will be good. No switch cart, but we will take the... All right, so this is the hard choice that we have, right? We know we only have a certain number of water in deck. But I think we take the Colress's to try to enable for next turn. We do have another Colress's in hand, but we will just end here. The problem is that I don't remember, even though I just did a deck tech for you guys, I don't remember how many water we have in Lost Zone or in deck. Honestly, that's one of the things that, like when you know like your prizes and your counts and all this other stuff, it's very important to try to remember your energies, because then you might get into a situation where I was, right? Having 2 water energy in Lost Zones is very bad for us, because we want to be able to use stuff like Radiant Greninja to attack, especially when we can, you know, do damage to both these guys onto the bench. But it looks like the Kadabra is coming down. Boss's orders is probably bringing up, okay, a Radiant Greninja, which isn't even that bad for us. But, and now we get the switch card. Okay, how many are we away? We're currently 4, and this will bring us up to 6 with the Colress is here. So I'd like to get that, I'd like to get that, and then I would like to get... I don't think I want Moon Ursaluna. I think I want a Crispin, because we're at the point that we're basically at endgame here. And when I say end game, I mean like a personal end game for us, right? So we're going to enable Mirage Gate by flower selecting, right? We need to put the energy into hand even if there is a switch, right? I don't know if we have enough lightning left in deck. So let's use Mirage Gate. I'd like to get lightning and steel. I don't have a way to shuffle things back in, do I? So let's discard an energy. I'd like to discard one of those. Okay, do we have enough? Let's check. We don't. We only have one left. Okay, that's not a big deal. We'll attach here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch cart, and we're going to bring our Iron Hands in, and we are just... Oh, I can't even attack with Ampu very much. See, that's the mistakes that you make when you don't pay attention. And I could have... Oh, wait, nope, I lied. We're good, we're good. Never punished. Because I didn't attach for turn, I can attach to the Iron Hands here, and then I Ampu very much right now for 120. We take 2 prizes, and we stop the Alakazam EX from coming out. We get a Prime Catcher and a Comfey, which is huge here, because then we get to switch out of the active. Honestly, I'm not too afraid of Mimikyu, because what we could do is we can use Cramorant to knock out the Mimikyu. Tool Up lets you put any combination of Psychic and Energy and Psychic Pokemon into your hand. That's pretty good. We don't have any, like, really good just normal retreats on our own. That's an Alakazam EX, right? That's the one that allows you to attack from your bench. I wish I could take a look a little bit better. Alakazam EX, yep, can be used to attack from the bench. So we want to be able to target that down ASAP, and we also want to be able to retreat. We don't have a good free retreater right now. So what I will do is, do we have Hisuian Heavy Ball? I need to get myself a Sableye. No Sableye there. Can a Nest Ball find me a Sableye? Okay, we got the Sableye. So Sableye is huge here, right? Because we attach Sableye here. I use a Prime Catcher to bring up something like the Pidgey. And then I bring up the Sableye. And I go, okay, Sableye, you're going to... Oh, I don't have enough cards in the Lost Zone. Well, good thing we have a Colress's Experiment. I'll put Super Rod, Board, and Jet Energy into hand. Don't care about the rest. Do we have enough now? I'm at 9. Oof. Guys, I was not paying attention. Okay. That's one of the biggest problems with this deck, right? Sometimes you just don't pay attention. And then we'll just do Amp You Very Much. Take 2 prizes off the Pidgey. Unfortunately, that Abra's probably going to become an Alakazam. But honestly, again, I'm not too worried. We will push through as needed. Yep, there's the Kadabra. Now, if we want to do something crazy, do we have I think we have 9 in the Lost Zone? Yep, we have 9 in the Lost Zone. So the way that we kind of end this is I will switch into the Sableye. I'm going to Lost Vacuum using this Hisuian Heavy Ball, hitting my own rescue board so that I have enough cards in the Lost Zone. And then I am going to Lost Mine, and I'm going to put 40, 60, or 70, 80, and then 20, 40 onto the active. Yeah, so the way that you win against decks just overall that have to set up in a slower meta is by punishing their setup and not allowing them to set up. Once the HPs get that high, you can't really do much into it. I feel bad because my opponent's trying to do something very cool, but we are playing Lost Box, and Lost Box is all about, you know, just getting to the point where you can just really outshine your opponent. And just, you know, get your engine going and pushing all the way through. Now, one of the bad problems that we had there was that we had 10 cards left in deck, which is very scary. But again, nothing too terrible. Nothing that we can't really push through. Good news is that we start Comfey, so whether or not we, have to go into a Budew or something of the sort, I'm not too worried about it. Looks like they are playing Charizard, and they are playing the Charizard list, which I am A-okay with. I would like to draw a card off that. Blood Moon Ursaluna is not coming out into the Charizard matchup, especially because they start Duskull. That's real rough for them. They also went first. Now, a lot of these Charizard decks and things of the sort can afford to go first because of the fact that they play Rotom V, which allows them to draw a bunch of cards without having anything else. They're also playing Terapagos? Interesting. Okay. Not something I was expecting. But I am A-okay to see some Charizard Terapagos. Looks like it's fully foiled out too. Maximum rarity. Let's go. Love to see the max rarity cards. Before we do anything, let's Comfey. Let's look at the top two cards. We get a Colress and a Crispin. As much as I would like to see Crispin, I think we're putting Colress into hand just so that we can have one for later. Colress's gets us Comfey. I would like to get the Jet Energy and probably the Psychic Energy. While the Super Rod is very good for us right now, it's not exactly what we're looking for. I'd like to Jet Energy this Comfey into play, just so that I have something to retreat with next turn if I super need to. Sableye has to go to hand. We only have one of those, and it's super important to us. I don't really think I'd do anything else besides sit here for a little bit. We don't really have much else to do, but that's okay because we're doing this board build up. We have 4 out there. If we had a way to get Cramorant, I would have played the Cramorant and attacked with the Cramorant. My opponent is getting super set up right away, getting the Charmanders out, getting the Hoots out, right? Which means that we want... Oh, okay, Iono's pretty rough here. But, I mean, I feel like they have to Iono us here. I'm not even too worried. What I really need to see is I need to see us be able to knock out the Charmander. Because if we're unable to knock out the Charmander, that Charizard's going to do a lot to us real quickly. There is Roxanne, right? We have some other stuff too that we could play around with. The problem, another problem is that, so Duskull, Dusclops knocks out for 5, doesn't knock us out. Oh, they're just straight up using Curse Blast to get out of the active. Interesting. Okay, we'll take a prize card on that. I don't think they get the knockout off that. I'm very surprised that they did that. Unless they have a double turbo. But I don't understand why they did that. Because we are able to kind of just play stuff out, right? So I'm going to get the Regigigas. I think we go for the Regigigas this turn. So the way that we do that is we're going to probably play the Regigigas, right? So we want to try to get a Colress's if we can. We'll grab the switch cart because we're going to need it. We'll switch cart into the Comfey. Colress's Experiment. There we go. I would like to use Colress's, putting stuff in there. Hey, look at that. We got a Mirage Gate. I'd like to get 1, 2, and so Iron Hands is really good here, but it's not enough to do what we need, right? Unless he is not weak to to electric. So we grab Night Stretcher, Super Rod, Mirage Gate. We have the double Mirage Gate play. We're sitting at 8, so we can go Mirage Gate. We'll go Water Grass onto the Regigigas. And this is why this Regigigas is this strong, by the way, because of the fact that we could do plays like this. So now I'll go Electric and Steel. And then we will just simply switch card it in. And we get the knockout. Now what this does is this turns off stuff such as... this turns off some stuff, right? So this will turn off any of their Terra stuff. Like, so they can't Noctowl. Oh, they have another one ready to go. Okay, crossing my fingers, like you guys can't see it in my hand yet, but I'm crossing my fingers that they do not have a rare candy in hand. There's the Charizard. There's a Noctowl getting the rare candy. Okay. I think our next goal, if we could do it, theoretically, if we could do it, what I would like to do is I would like to, let's see, if there's no Psychic in here, that's fine. What we need to do is we need to try to get Sableye so that we can knock out these two, Oh, wait. Huh? Is there no rare candy? Okay, there's the rare candy. Okay. That's fine. 330 on the Regigigas is insane too, though. We do have Vacuum. We do have some other stuff. I'm not too worried. Getting Iono down kind of sucks, but Iono's not the worst thing to happen here. And we still have a Colress's too, which is absolutely huge here. Yep. So getting the Regigigas knocked out kind of stinks. But again, like, we are not in the worst situation we've ever been in, right? Just have to make sure switch card says active basic. So we'll put the one with the energy on into the active, right? And we're going to start to spin some cards to see what we can get. Let's get a Pokegear, right? We got another Colress. We don't want to see that Colress off the top, so that's why we're doing it like this, right? So there's that Sableye that we were looking to see. I'm not putting down the Sableye until I have enough cards. So let's Colress is here. There's Cramorant, there's Roxanne, there's a Switch, Night Stretcher, right? We can get ourselves another Comfey. We do not need the Cramorant here. Our goal is to just set up KOs. How many energies do we have in the discard? We have no Psychic in the discard, which is the problem. So let's retreat here. We'll get the other Comfey out. Flower selecting. Let's see. Buddy Poffin's pretty good here. I don't know if I care about the Prime Catcher. Do we have any valid attackers in hand? Not really. So we'll get a Buddy Poffin. We're going to keep digging, guys. We're going to keep searching until we can get something. So let's get another Comfey out. We'll play another Comfey. Right, so let's switch into our next Comfey. Right? Flower selecting. Let's hope for a Psychic. We didn't get a Psychic. We did get a Jet, which is going to allow us to do it one more time. Right? So we'll... but if I do the Jet, I can't naturally... Okay. So there's a way to do this, and I think the way is to... Yeah, we have to Jet and then hope we get a Mirage Gate. If we get the Psychic, I'm very sad. We didn't get the Psychic. We did get an S-Ball. What do we get for an S-Ball? We have Pheasantipity. Play the Pheasantipity. Draw some cards. Okay. We knock off their bench with the Artisan. I hope our Psychic Energy isn't prized. If it is, then I am in trouble. I'd like to shuffle 1, 2... most likely Steel's left in the deck. Or not left in the deck. I kind of want an S-Ball to see what's left, but also at the same time, I don't really care as much. So I think we just end our turn. We do have Colress's again. We have 14 cards left in deck. The way that we win this is hope that they use their Dusclops to try to knock something out. And then when they use Dusclops to knock something out, we get an extra prize. right? Even if they Dusk Noir here, we're okay, I think. I'm just hoping, yeah, so there's the Dusk Noir. They're going to Dusk Noir, probably knock out a Comfey, giving us an extra prize, hoping that we hit that. So, like, I'm crossing my fingers here. Like, I'm planning super far into the future. So, Curse Blast is probably hitting one of my Comfeys. Yeah, the Comfey and the active, that's fine. We give them that Comfey. I am more than willing to give them a Comfey. We'll take a prize card, hope it's a Psychic Energy. It's not a Psychic Energy, Buddy Buddy Poffin, which is not good for us here. I need a... we'll get another Comfey here. I need 2 more Mirage Gates, which I'm hoping that the other one's not prized. We haven't seen a lot of cards in deck yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Buddy Buddy Poffin next turn. I'm going to use it as an excuse to look at our deck. Because if our last 2 cards are like Mirage Gate plus something else, I don't know yet. We'll have to take a look. But essentially, they have to set up something for us. We should have 1 Mirage Gate left in deck, so we can always go like... We can always not... So if we have 2 Mirage Gates left in deck, we're going to see a lot of cards. No matter what. So the first things first. Let's Buddy Buddy Poffin. Let's take a look at what's left in the deck. So we have 2 Mirage Gates. Good. And we have 3 energy left in list. And some Super Rods. Okay. So first things first. Let's put down... let's put down our Radiant Greninja. Let's spin this Flower Selecting. I'd like to get the Mirage Gate. The problem is that a energy got taken out. So this is where we're kind of in trouble, right? So if I go 90-90, it gets 2 knockouts. So can I somehow get 2 water? Okay, so the way that we do this is I get a water into hand. So I play the water for turn. So we do that. So let's draw some cards. Let's use Artisan to see what's left in the deck. Is there a water left in deck? If there is, we win. Well, there is not. So we need a Super Rod. So to do this, we need the Colruses, Super Rod, and there's 1 energy left in deck. So we'll grab these guys. We have it here. So what I do is I go Super Rod, I shuffle in the water, that and that, right? And this is why energy count is so important in the list. Now we Mirage Gate, right? We get water and we get Psychic. Both of them go onto this Radiant Greninja. And then we go Switch Cart into the Radiant Greninja. And the whole reason that we are able to do this is because of the fact that my opponent gave us so many... gave me so many extra prizes. And just like that, we take our last 2 prizes. And remember, they flat out decided that they were going to constantly knock out our stuff, right? They were going to, use Dusk Noir, use Dusclops, things like that. Give me prizes. Let me see a bunch of stuff. So we'll start by putting a Comfey out and then a Comfey onto the bench. My opponent's starting Fez really stinks. That is not anything we like to see. But, I mean, we'll take full advantage of it. Looks like they are also playing Charizard. As you saw before, one of the best ways to play into Charizard is just kind of to go all out and grab everything you need. So what really messes with us here? Not having enough Comfeys. So we're going to Artisan right away, grabbing ourselves another Comfey. So we get 1, 2... Maybe we get... So there's a world where we get Iron Bundle to knock it out, but we can always search up Iron Bundle. That is another thought, too. So let's Flower Selecting, hope that we see a Colruses. We do not see a Colruses. If I had a choice between a Night Stretcher and a Super Rod, I will take the Night Stretcher for the time being. Let us attach here, get the Gen Energy out, use this Comfey to find... us a Colruses. Nope. I need that Regigigas. That Regigigas is so good into this that we are not able to really deal without it. For our nest ball, I will play the Radiant Greninja. Let's discard the Steel, just because it's just not great here. Okay, that's another Jet Energy and a Super Rod. Stinks, but you know, what else can we do? Let's hope we hit a Colress's. Hey, there's the Colress's. We go down a Mirage Gate, which really stinks, but you know what? I'd rather be up everything else. So we'll take a Switch, a Nest Ball, and a Comfey. We do technically get the ability to attack this turn if we really want to. I'm not really feeling it, though. There's a world where we play another Comfey, but I don't think we do that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to Nest Ball. I'm going to get out a Cramorant. And I'm going to switch and hit. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes you just need to deal 110 to show him who's boss. Not just that, but weakening up is always a good idea, especially you don't always have to get knockouts. You can sometimes turn those into like better opportunities. And there's the Budew coming down from my opponent just a little bit too late. Like, I'm sorry, my friend. Oh, they're playing... okay. I see what's going on here. Collapse Stadium. That's perfectly fine by me. They're switching probably into Itchy Pollen to get themselves an extra turn. Perfectly fine. I think what we'll do here is we will probably Radiant Greninja to discard the Psychic, draw a card, or draw 2 cards. I'm gonna Boss's Orders the Dreppy. I know that sounds really bad to say here, but I really like the idea of being able to just simply slow them down an extra turn and not have them be able to evolve, right? If we allow the Dragapult to get out there, we will be in a large amount of trouble. There's a Water Energy, which is super good. Honestly, there's a world where we just simply... Oh, my opponent just conceded. Okay. Guys, if you are ever playing this deck and you go up against Dragapult and things of the sort, always take out the Dracloaks. Always, you know... The Budew is scary, but if you're set up, don't worry about taking out the Budew. They lock you down for a turn, you're just attacking, taking prizes like that. Guys, I absolutely love Lost Zone. I love Lost Zone. And once it rotates, I'm going to be so sad. I was a huge fan of Sableye. Guys, we really didn't see the Pikachu EX or the Blood Moon Ursaluna really be played. But that's okay, because this deck is really just all about getting that gas in there, utilizing all the good already, relevant Lost Zone creatures, and being faster and more consistent than your opponent. Sometimes you have to Hail Mary and dig. Sometimes you'll mess up your lines, but I wouldn't worry about it. At the end of the day, I think this deck is fantastic. And if you are okay with losing your tickets, dust, whatever you want to call it in this game, and you want to play something fun and a little bit brain-racking, play Lost Zone. Don't worry if it seems intimidating. Don't worry about whether or not you could choose one card or the other. Doesn't matter. Just give it a try. Give it a couple runs. If you like it, you like it. It is one of the best decks that speaks to me right now. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys probably in a couple weeks when we do another deck tech video, or maybe I'll do my wrapping up the format, format review type of idea to give you guys an idea of what I liked of the format. Maybe my top 5 decks of the format, right? What decks did I really enjoy out of the format? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. I've been Voiddyn. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.